when you're worrying about continuity, but also trying to, stay true to the moment, what is something that like you've done to deal with that? Because I know that in my experiences playing with stuff like that, I've always found it difficult to do things that are, very easily repeatable, or something that's not going to, if we have to go back, like something that's not going to be completely unrepeatable, or like not repeat the same, like not get stuck in the same performance over and over again while trying to keep continuity going.
It depends on it's a good question. And I think it really depends on what the action is that you're doing. For simple things, it will be your responsibility when you first do some of your first wide shots to repeat, like, oh, this is where I was drinking the water. This is where I was. And so you want to think about that ahead of time. But if you have a really complicated scene, it's really good idea to make good friends with the script supervisor. And because that's what they're for. They are there for you for that. And they'll help you. And so you can enroll them and just say, hey, I'm truly trying to and they will help you with that. But I do think it's one of the reasons why you can also figure out a lot of that stuff in the first blocking with the director and talk it out a little bit, especially if it feels, and I think it's really good to just say, I just want to make sure I don't screw this up. But when you rehearse, a lot of actors feel like they get a little nervous on set, especially if they haven't been on set a lot. And so they feel, and they'll see other, if you're on a show and you've got the other series regular.
Yeah, it happened a lot.
I think what happens sometimes is you can get nervous and intimidated by regulars who've been on the show, and they come and they do their rehearsal and they're they've barely memorized it yet, and they're kind of half-assing their blocking, and they're not acting in the rehearsal. And so then you can feel like, oh, that's kind of what I'm supposed to do, right? Like I'm not really supposed to act. And I really think it's positive to take that time to really, that is your time. That might be your only rehearsal. So to ask all those questions of the director in that moment, to practice, okay, I'm cooking eggs. What am I doing to my partner, and how can I use my action to help me with that, and get every opportunity to rehearse that you can. And don't be there's, I mean, there will literally be series leads who will show up and barely know their lines and kind of fumble through it, but don't be fooled. Because there's plenty of other people who will not do that, and who will come up and school everybody, and they're the ones who have the careers that you want.